Hey, how you doing? This is a photograph I took the same night as this infrared video that I want to show you, and I put this on here for a reference and a little perspective, I guess. This is for 1 second at 155 millimeters, and obviously that's an airplane. It's the right wing tip here with a strobe going off, the belly light, and the left wing tip strobe. So keep that image in mind as you look at some of the rest of this here. Now this image here is for 2 seconds at 220 millimeters taken the same night. And I'm pretty sure those are not airplanes. Couldn't tell you what they are, but they look like airplanes to me. Looks like a couple of orbs pulsing and flashing as they're going along. So anyway, let me show you something else that I took that night with the infrared camera. Look at that there thing. I really started looking at this video because initially when I took it back in 2017, I thought through that small viewfinder all I could see was a flashing light, and I thought, well, it's probably just an airplane in the distance. But then it did what it did, and I thought, well, maybe it's a helicopter. So I kind of started picking it apart. I kind of lost track of this video in some of I've got hundreds of images and videos, and I just lose track of them sometimes. But anyway, I decided to put this through a program that I have that allows me to do, one frame at a time images. And the reason I did it with this one was because when I was looking at the video, I noticed that I could still see the object when the strobe was off, and it looked the same size as the strobe that was going on. It just didn't fit, normal aircraft lighting configuration. So I was really curious as to what that might be. So I started looking at it a little closer with this program here. So let me show you. This image right here. Before I get past this here, when I first looked at this, it reminded me of something that Jacques Cousteau would use to film, underwater, where they use those cameras with the two grab handles here, and then they got this great big huge lens, which is actually the camera part, right, to film with. Um, that was my first impression of it when I looked at it. But when I was looking at the video itself, I'm like, my goodness, this hole right here, if that's what that is, or light portal, is big enough, in my opinion, to drive a truck into. This thing, from my estimation, has got to be the size of a large barn. I'll show you what I mean here after I show you a couple other screen grabs from this thing. Now this here is a blurry one that I put on here on purpose because this camera was only running at 30 feet or 30 frames. I'm sorry, 30 frames per second. And so I like these blurred images here, or what I call them still videos, where you can see the object is moved, but you can still see the clarity of the object itself. Again, here's that hole. And so it's twisting, it's tumbling, and it's moving in a multitude of different directions as it's flying along. And I was going through these screen grabs here looking for some kind of a construct that would, indicate to me that it was a helicopter or an airplane. And maybe it's a drone, but my goodness, who has a drone the size of a barn? Now I'm going to zoom in on this here a little bit closer here. To me, this right in here looks like plasma. You know what I'm saying? I might be mistaken, but like I said, these images, these screen grabs were taken when it was not lit up. So that's like, barely visible, barely lit up. I'll just shut up here for a little bit and let you watch the video. No, I lied. I'm not going to shut up. Now, you see when the the strobe goes off or when the light goes out, pay no attention to the bats down there. They're having a feeding frenzy. But you can still see the object. You know what I'm saying? And look at this stuff in the distance. This stuff in the distance here. Okay, this here is somebody's, you know, um, lit up trees behind their house here. This tree line in the background is a good 5 or 6 miles away. So what, I can't tell you exactly how far that away that is, obviously, but I mean, just, for perspective, goodness sakes. This is a home down here with their, backyard lit up or whatever. Look at the size of that thing. Again, like I said, this is infrared. It's just set on the black and white setting, which is easier for me to look at when I'm filming. So don't worry about this lighting right here. I'll move the camera and it'll go. You'll be able to see it again here in a second. Hard to get good help these days, but yeah, I use it on the black and white setting, and the earlier screen grabs were enhanced, of course. But nonetheless, interesting. I thought anyway. I know nobody ever gets all the way through the videos this far along because I'm not that good at doing videos, and everybody's attention span is really short. But I mean, if you're into this kind of stuff, remember that one image there. As you're watching this thing, I mean, goodness sakes, that's some kind of a square something or other out there flying around. Now here it has a bit of an altitude change. And yeah, cue the UFO music, right? I mean, I'm thinking if that was a helicopter and it was approaching an airport and it was told to hold short of the runway, to get access to it, it would have done just that, held short. It wouldn't have kept flying around like that. So the fact that it changed directions like that, and the fact that I could still see it in between strobes and the object appeared the same size as the strobe itself almost, it just really got me curious as to what it was I was looking at there. So I still don't know. If you got any ideas, let me know. Appreciate you looking at the video and subscribing and all them kind of YouTube things. And no matter what you're doing out there, you be sure and take care. And thanks again for having a look. Appreciate it.